Okay, Kristen Hines, we are back studying in the Sermon on the Mount what I think is maybe one of the scariest passages in the entire Bible. This idea of like showing up at the end of your life and the God of the universe saying, you did a lot of stuff and I don't know who you are. And clearly these were varsity Christians. They'd done all these things. Why should I not just be horrified right now when I read this passage? Give us some encouragement. Give us some context here for how we're supposed to read what I think for a lot of people, if they're really paying attention, should get our attention.
Yeah, I think I understand how this is scary and why it can be and it should be for people who don't really know the Lord, who aren't really in relationship with him. But for those of us who are believers and who are pursuing the Lord and growing in our walk with him, it doesn't have to be scary. We don't have to expect that this might happen when we get to heaven. Yeah. We can have assurance of our salvation. That is all throughout the scriptures.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so last week when we were studying the verses before this, he talked a lot about false prophets speaking into our life and the caution of that. What is then Jesus doing? He talked about false prophets, and then he's kind of pivoting to this caution. What's the theme? Where is he going with this?
Yeah, there's a good lead-in from false prophets. I think then kind of the natural progression. Now we're talking about false disciples. So, picture him on this mountain giving the sermon. There are disciples all around him, but not all of them actually have a relationship with him. They're not all truly following him as the Lord of their life. And we don't want to take this to as an excuse to be able to look at other people and say, you're a false disciple, you're a false disciple.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that only God knows our hearts, but if we take this and look inward, look at ourselves, am I really following the Lord? Am I a true disciple of him?
I think that's a great caution. I think so much the commands or the cautions of Scripture, our first instinct is, let me apply that to that guy. Let me think of, I wonder if he's in that camp, or I wonder if
It's more comfortable.
Yeah, way more comfortable. But I love that caution of making sure that we read this and say, Lord, would you really allow me to do business with the Lord personally with that? That's great. These groups, obviously, they're going to spend a lot of time in this little chunk of Scripture, making observations and making those interpretations and then applying it. But give us one application that you would want to make sure groups aren't walking away missing if you just had to give us just one out of the many that I'm sure you could find here.
I think going back to the idea that it's important to look at your own walk with the Lord and following him, how you're doing that. I think a great application is to spend some time looking at your walk with God. Look at your own heart. Am I someone who's just doing and saying a lot of the right things because I know that's what you're supposed to do or what other Christians expect of me? Or am I inwardly truly growing in my relationship with the Lord? Am I studying his word? Am I talking to him? Am I seeking to be like him inside, not just outside?
Yeah, that's so good. I think, we talk a lot about this in Christianity and evangelical circles, that it's a relationship. But this is one of those verses that's like, this is a relationship. It's not just what I know about God. It is a relationship. You've used examples of like, you might know somebody on Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things, but you don't really know them. You just know about them.
I follow people on Instagram and I know a lot about what they do and what they say and even what they think and what their house looks like, but they don't know me and I don't know them.
Yeah. I think that's so important. I think it's so important for us in our groups and I'd even encourage you guys to spend some extra time, just if it's appropriate for your group, spend some time just in prayer tonight and sitting before the Lord and wrestling with this passage and then really applying, Lord, would I deepen, not out of a fear that drives our relationship, but out of a desire to say, I want to know, not just know about you. I want to know you. I want to walk with you. And I love what Jesus does here and I love his command. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. We love you guys. We're praying specifically for tonight that it's really, really sweet. God bless.